Guys, it looks like about another 5 or 6 laps before these guys have pitted at lap 25, hit pit road, and this whole situation rights itself again. But right now, still pretty vulnerable. So for those guys that had a pit just a little while ago.
Possibly some issues arising on the 38 car. Dave?
They're the ones we reported earlier on the steering, but they seem to be getting worse. Jason complaining, I think I'm losing power steering, and I'm not looking forward to that. They'll need to pit about lap 95. Tim Brewer in our Craftsman Tech Garage, is there anything that they can do on that pit stop to try to help the power steering?
One of the things you can do, Dave, is this is a power steering reservoir. If it's leaking fluid out, you got a line loose, just a little bit of fluid going away, it's going to cause the pump to cavitate, actually pump air. And anytime the pump has cavitation in it, you get an irky feeling or a tight feeling in the box. And one thing a driver does not want to stand is something to do with the steering and the gas pedal and the brake pedal. Those three items have to respond at a driver at any time when he's having a problem with them. Makes him very unstable.
Thanks, Tim. And Rusty, how about the power steering? If it starts to catch you and pull you, I know you drove before they had power steering, and afterwards, how difficult is that for Jason?
Well, that's really difficult, Jerry. I mean, for a driver to have to negotiate that. But Andy, I tell you one thing I've heard last weekend, there were several drivers starting to have problems with firewall bushings actually locking up as it gets hotter and hotter around those exhaust systems. And as he said, it's getting worse and worse and tighter. It makes me think that maybe it is that firewall bushing.
Yeah, whatever it is, it's important. Got a couple cars on pit road. Bernard Lamar peeling off, make his pit stop. Kevin Conway continuing on down.
There's Lamar, who lives here in Nashville, Tennessee. And you see Kevin Conway, second start of 6 in the Joe Nemechek Toyota.
I would expect to see Jason Leffler and Kenny Wallace, Brendan Gaughan, some of these guys starting down pit road in a few laps. See, Brad Keselowski now has caught Jason Leffler. Going to unlap himself.
Until tonight, Jason Leffler had led just 1 lap in the first 12 races of the year. That lap was at Charlotte, and he has now led 20 laps in a row, but that's going to go away here in another 4 or 5 laps as he will head to pit road.
Yeah, we're starting to see these guys now that pitted on lap 25 starting to hit pit road now. Kind of onesie, twosies at a time, so to speak, and I think around lap 95 is when everything's going to happen.
School bus, pit this time. Remember, keep your RPMs up as much as you can for your steering.
Okay, there you go. Leffler was the first one that hit on 25, one of the first guys, and now he's coming down pit road the next time. So, Andy, I think a lot of them are going to follow.
Yeah, you heard Scott Zipadelli, his crew chief, saying keep the RPMs up just in case that, that's the problem with the power steering. They want to make sure that they keep it where he can steer it when he does get down to pit road, because right here is where it's really difficult. You got to chase that steering a little bit.
See all the smoke coming out of the back of the car. That yellow line right there is where the timing mark starts. One of them, and they've got to get that thing low down there.
Boy, it seems like an eternity at 45 miles an hour getting all the way down pit road. And Dave, he's headed toward you.
Yep, it's slow, Doc, on pit road, but that's a safety factor, and that's a good thing. They'll go to work on this car in the way of fresh rubber, an air pressure adjustment, but they will not go under the hood right now to try to give any assistance to that power steering. Jamie.
And Eric Darnell in the 6 car making his second start this year with this team. He said he just needs to free it up just a little bit. Remember, he pitted earlier. He was on that front spot of the top 8 cars, guys. It's going to be 4 tires and fuel for the 6 of Eric Darnell.
But Kyle Busch, while that's going on, guys, Kyle Busch is just setting sail, just trying to put these guys down all he possibly can. And watching his lap times, he's actually really not the fastest car on the racetrack. He's one of them. And the last time by, Carl Edwards was actually the best car on the track for speed, him and Brad Keselowski.
And your younger brother, Rusty, Kenny Wallace, is being shown as the leader. Now, he and Brendan Gaughan are the 2 cars that are left that have to come down, as is Shelby Howard. There's a 28 car. And a great run for Kenny Wallace, the former 3-time most popular driver and 9-time winner here in the NASCAR Nationwide Series.
Tell you what, I'm not just saying this because he's my brother, guys, but he's been doing a great job in that U.S. Border Patrol car, really giving a good run to that car, and is hoping for some strategy to pay off right now. If this caution did fly, he'd have everybody a lap down.
Here comes Morgan Shepherd on the right side of your screen. Morgan was running in the 8th position.
And he moved up in there with that strategy. He has a good pit stop right here. He's going to try to just stay on the lead lap if possible.
See what a difference those fresh tires make for Jason Leffler, able to pull back on the racetrack and just go sailing by on the inside of Kenny Wallace.
And that does put Leffler back on the lead lap.
So Kenny Wallace, the leader, Brendan Gaughan in second spot. Both those guys pitted on lap 25. Then Kyle Busch has moved all the way up to third after moving up through the field. Back and forth is Shelby Howard, one of the cars yet to pit. And he would be the last of the 3 cars yet to come on pit road who made that stop back on the early caution flag.
You can see by looking at the ticker, there's only 8 cars on the lead lap until Kenny Wallace makes his pit stop.
Yeah, but Brendan Gaughan right there in the US Fidelis car, I mean, they are getting killed. He's coming down pit road now. You see his hand out the window, waving off the car behind him. That's Kyle Busch. He's losing a lot of time out there staying out in those old tires, but he had to do it in case a caution flag flew.
Yeah, once you pick that strategy, you got to stick with it until you play it out. And if a caution did fly, it would have been a great break, but it didn't. Here comes Brendan Gaughan, Shannon.
Brendan Gaughan described this car in 2 words, dog tight. It's been tight the entire race. You see those guys over the wall, they're going to take 4 tires. They did make a track bar adjustment on their first pit stop, which was on lap 25, but they just want to give Brendan Gaughan a little bit relief in this 62 car.
So Gaughan is in, so is the 70 of Shelby Howard, and a pass-through.
Ether.
He needs ether. Kenny's just run out of gas. And you know what that means.
It means he's out of fuel. Calling for the ether.
Ether.
Yeah, he's kind of in a panic situation. He knows he's out of fuel. He played this strategy all the way to the end, trying to catch a break.
We might explain what he means by ether coming on pit road.
It's just a can of ether that you use for starting fluid, and it helps get the motor started back up.
Now, the problem he's got right now, the engine's not running.
Kenny. 2 tires, guys.
I don't think it's running real well right now, if at all. And coming out pit road probably doesn't have a tachometer to control the speed.
Yeah, you see him spraying the can. The ether into the cowl opening. This is going to be hard to get it started. It's still going to take a little bit to get this thing fired off. They can only push this thing 3 pits, and then they have to stop pushing.
The ether combustible spray to be able to get spark in the carburetor so they can get the carburetor and the engine to turn to be able to pump fuel up there.
This is a tough break. It finally does take.
Go. He's gone.
Now he's going.
So they might have stayed out 1 lap too many. Kenny Wallace stayed on the racetrack to be able to lead, and frustration down there in the U.S. Border Patrol pits. Tough break for Kenny, who had led 7 consecutive laps. Well, the cycling of pit stop is completed. Kyle Busch back up front, Carl Edwards, Brad Keselowski, Brad Coleman is 4th, and now Mike Bliss being shown in 5th position.